In this explainer, we're going to take Google's NotebookLM out of the garage and really open it up on the racetrack. We're going to show you how to transform it from a simple summarizer into a super advanced and, most importantly, ethically sound research co-pilot. We're moving way beyond the basics to unlock its full power for your academic work.
Okay, let's kick things off with a quote that it hits the nail on the head. So many researchers and students, they'll upload a PDF to NotebookLM, ask for a quick summary, and then that's it. They stop. But doing that is literally like buying a Ferrari and never, ever taking it out of first gear. So today, we are going to learn how to properly put the pedal to the metal. So, here's our game plan for getting up to speed. First, we're going to look under the hood at the source-grounded engine that makes this tool so reliable. Then, we'll shift up, synthesizing knowledge across a ton of different documents and creating some really powerful academic outputs. And finally, we'll cover the crucial rules of the road, the ethics and limitations you've got to know.
Now, before we accelerate, we absolutely have to understand the core safety feature that makes NotebookLM a solid choice for serious research. And trust me, this isn't just another chatbot.
The secret sauce behind NotebookLM's reliability is something called Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or RAG. Now, it sounds super technical, but the idea is actually brilliantly simple, and it is vital for academic integrity. See, NotebookLM works inside a closed system. That means it only gives you answers based on the documents you upload. That becomes its ground truth, which basically eliminates the risk of the AI just making stuff up. And the difference this makes, it's like night and day. On one side, you've got NotebookLM, giving you answers that are tied directly to your sources, complete with clickable citations so you can check its work. On the other side, you have general chatbots that are just pulling from the wild west of the internet, where they can, and they often do, hallucinate facts and just invent sources. For academic work, that distinction, it is everything.
All right, safety checks are complete. It is time to shift up a gear. Let's move from just analyzing one document at a time to synthesizing brand new insights across your entire research library.
So the best way to do this is to think of your notebook as one big, unified project. You start by curating everything, your papers, your own notes, web pages, even transcripts from YouTube videos. Then, you can start to cross-reference them, asking these really complex questions that force the AI to compare and contrast. From there, you can prompt it to pull out themes and gaps, and you can even use its deep research feature to find new sources to fill those gaps.
And this is where we leave those simple summary requests in the dust. Prompts like these are asking NotebookLM to do some really high-level thinking, like contrasting methodologies or spotting research gaps, tasks that would normally take a human researcher hours and hours of manual work. You're basically turning it into a research assistant that can read, understand, and compare your entire library all at once.
This analytical power gets a huge boost from the data table feature, and this thing is a total game changer for literature reviews. You can upload dozens of dense, qualitative papers and ask NotebookLM to pull out key info, like methodology, sample size, or key findings, and organize it all into a structured grid, just like this. It turns that wall of text into a clear, comparable table that you can export right into Google Sheets. Okay, we've gathered our sources, we've synthesized the key insights, now it is time to hit top speed. Let's look at how NotebookLM's Studio panel can turn all that synthesis into actual, usable academic assets. So, how do you turn all this analysis into something useful, right? That's where the Studio panel comes in. Think of it as your output engine. With just a single click, you can take all that grounded knowledge from your notebook and generate all kinds of formats. Prepping for your defense? Make a slide deck. Need to drill down on key terms? Generate a study guide. This is how you go from pure research to actually applying it.
Now, one of the most unique tools in here is the audio overview feature. And get this, it doesn't just read your notes back to you in a robotic voice. No way. It actually generates a full-on podcast-style conversation between two AI hosts who discuss, debate, and explore the nuances in your source materials. It is a completely different way to engage with your own research. And here's the really crucial part. Your work is never trapped inside NotebookLM. All of these things you create, the slides, the tables, the study guides, they can all be exported into the tools you already know and use, like Google Docs, Sheets, or PowerPoint. This makes sure the tool just fits right into your existing workflow, instead of forcing you to learn a new one.
Okay, with all this power comes a whole lot of responsibility. Using this tool powerfully means you have to use it responsibly. So let's slow things down for a minute and cover the essential guidelines, the ethical stuff, and the practical limitations. This quote right here, this is probably the single most important rule for using AI in academia. You have to think of NotebookLM as a brilliant, incredibly fast research assistant. It can synthesize, it can compare, it can generate, but you are still the lead researcher. It's a tool to augment your intellect, not to replace it.
So what does that mindset look like in practice? Well, it boils down to a few key actions. First, always trust but verify. Use those clickable citations to check every single claim against your original sources. Second, document your process. Keep a record of the tools and prompts you used. A lot of institutions now require an AI transparency statement, so this is just becoming standard practice. And finally, make sure you're following the guidelines set by major academic bodies.
All right, let's talk practical limitations. While the free tier is actually pretty generous, you will hit limits on bigger projects, especially that 50 source cap per notebook. The Pro and Ultra tiers, as you can see, expand those limits by a lot, so the key is really just to match the plan to the scale of what your research needs.
And just a few final words of caution to keep in mind. This is a cloud-only tool, so yeah, you need an internet connection. And you're locked into using Google's Gemini model. Here's a pro tip. If you're working with super long documents, like a whole book, split it into smaller chunks before you upload. That way you're sure the AI can process the entire text without missing anything. And, this is critical for anyone worried about privacy, Google has stated that they do not use your uploaded data to train their models.
So let's bring this whole journey together. First, trust the RAG engine. Rely on it for accuracy. Second, move beyond just summarizing and start synthesizing new ideas across your whole library. Third, use that studio panel to generate real-world academic outputs. And finally, and maybe most importantly, always use the tool ethically. Remember, it is your collaborator, not the final authority.
So, we'll leave you with this question. Now that you have the keys to the engine, now that you can move beyond first gear, what's next? Think about those complex, multi-document questions that just seemed too time-consuming to even try before. What new connections can you explore now? If you found this guide helpful and you want more practical explainers on tools and workflows for your research, you might want to consider subscribing. We focus on providing really clear, actionable guidance to help you work smarter. Thanks for watching.